Hence, I have an approbation from the truly benevolent man that I can say riddles and poetry containing all the sciences, because all the days with the riddles and their poetry come to exist entirely through him. As mentioned, today I present you as an absolute gift, Drasha Geschenk, that you should be like me. There was a grand celebration and great gladness there, and they had a blast. Fourth day. When they had completed that day's celebration and passed the night afterwards in the morning, they again thought back and yearned, and so forth, for the beggar who had a crooked neck. Meanwhile, he came and said, I am here. Previously, I had blessed you to be like me. Today I present it to you, Drasha Geschenk, that you should be like me. You think that I have a crooked neck? I have no crooked neck whatsoever. On the contrary, I have a very even neck, a very beautiful neck, except that there are vapors, havalim, of the world. In other words, worldly nonsense. And I wish to release no breath or spirit whatsoever into the vanities of the world. And therefore it appears his neck is crooked, since he twists his neck from the vanities of the world, and wants to release no breath or spirit whatsoever into the world's vanities. But in truth, I have a very beautiful neck, an extremely fine neck, for I have a superb voice and all kinds of sounds in the world which are only sound without speech. I can mimic all of them with my voice, for I have a very superb neck and voice, and I have testament to this from that country. For there is a country where they are all expert in the science of music making, and they are all involved there in this wisdom, even little children. There is not a child there who cannot play on some musical instrument. And the most minor person that is in that country is, or would be, the greatest expert in another country in musical knowledge. And the sages and king of that country and the capellas, the music band, are extraordinary great masters of that wisdom. One time, the country's sages were sitting, and each one boasted of his musical prowess. This one boasted he could play on this musical instrument, that one boasted he could play that musical instrument, and another boasted on another musical instrument. This one boasted he could play several musical instruments, and this one boasted he could play on all kinds of musical instruments. This one boasted he could perform with his voice like this musical instrument. That one boasted he could perform with his voice like that musical instrument. And this one boasted he could perform his voice like several musical instruments. And this one boasted he could perform with his voice exactly like a drum, which is called a poik, when it is struck. And this one boasted he could produce with his voice just as the firing of a cannon, which is called urmatis. And I too was there. In other words, the one with the crooked neck who was telling all this was there. I spoke up and I said to them, my voice is better than your voices. And this is the proof. Because if you are indeed such experts in musical sound, help the two lands. For there are two lands 1,000 miles apart from each other. And there, in these two countries, when night comes, no one can sleep. For when it becomes night, they all begin crying out with wailing voices, men, women, and children. For at night there is heard an exceedingly wailing sound, a whining call of lamentation, and because of it, all who are there must start wailing, men, women, and little children. If a stone were to rest there, it would melt down. And that is what takes place in the two countries. Because in this country the wailing call is heard, and everyone must lament, as mentioned, and likewise in the other country it is also so. And from one country to the other there is a distance of 1,000 miles. So if you are such expert musicians, you can play and sing. Let me see if you can help the two countries, or at least reproduce the calling, mimic the wailing sound that is heard there. They said to him, will you take us there? He said, yes, I will take you there. And they all began to go there. They went and arrived there at one of the two aforementioned countries. When night came, it was all as always. They all began wailing, and the experts also wailed as well. So they saw already that they could not help. He said to them, the one whose neck was crooked said to the aforementioned sages, in any event, tell me, from where is the wailing call which is heard here? From where is this calling? They said to him, and you know? He replied, I know indeed. For there are two birds, one male and one female, and they are just one pair in the world. The female got lost. He seeks her, and she seeks him. They had sought each other very long until they lost their ways, and they saw they could no longer find each other. So they stayed stationary and made themselves nests.